Okay. All right, I'd like to call to order the Conservation Advisory Council for the town of Niskayuna. This is the January 7th, 2026 meeting. Laura, could you please call the roll?
Online, we have Dan McPherson and Clark Henry. And in the room, we have Ellen Daviero, Portia Zwicker, Chuck Petrowski, and Chairman Dart Strayer. And we are expecting our sixth member, Joy Wang, to join us shortly.
Okay, great. Okay, we have some December 3rd minutes, the draft. Does anyone have any corrections or additions that they want to make to those minutes? Okay. Then I would entertain a motion.
And to accept the minutes for December 2025.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
I see nobody opposed, no abstentions, so carries. Okay. Yeah.
Jared, if I could just interrupt for a
Yeah.
second, it helped Trish when she's doing the minutes, if you could call out who makes the motion and who seconds it, because she can't always tell.
Thank you, Clark. I will try to remember.
So Ellen made the motion and Portia seconded it.
Yeah.
Carry
Thank
on,
you.
Soldier.
Okay. Privilege of the floor. Would anybody like to address the council? Yeah, go ahead, John.
Good evening. My name is John Gansfuss. I live at 2162 Stuyvesant Street. I'm the land steward for the Rice Wildlife Sanctuary. And the reason for I have a question for you. I just recently found a report that deals with the sanctuary that describes various activities at 2 red pine groves that are on the property. These were planted in 1935. There were some of the red pines were trimmed out in 2005 because there was partly a beetle infestation, plus the trees were way too close. Okay, so when they took the trees down, they took about 130 trees out. They discovered that they chipped most of them. When they looked at the tree cookies, the cross sections, they found that those trees were only healthy for the first 25 years of their life. 1935, 25 years, that's 1960. Since then, they've been stressed out. There's a second grove that they did not do any work to because the Hudson Mohawk Bird Club, which owns the property, did not have enough money to do that. The forester who did the work predicted in 20 to 30 years, all of those red pines in the larger grove on the east side are all going to be dead. They're going to be standing dead. And that all could have been avoided if there was a responsible forest management plan. He said that there should have been some management in 1970. So the question I'm posing to the CAC is, do you know if for any of the significant woodlands in town that are publicly owned or privately owned, are there any forest management plans developed? If not, it's something that should be encouraged, and we could look into, or somebody can look into the funding for how much that costs and who can do it. Some of it might be free. DEC does some work. Maybe the Land Conservancy could do some of that work. But I just think long-term in Niskayuna, we don't want to have forests which have a lot of dead standing trees, which pose a fire risk, risk of disease and pests. Mm-hmm. So that just, my point is just, can somebody look into that?
Sure.
And if such plans don't exist, let's find a way to encourage people to get them.
Laura, does the Tree Council have a forest management?
No, the Tree Council has only been working on a street tree master plan, and it's not directly related to forests. It's more like street trees.
Okay. So, John, the answer is no.
But we could work on that. We want to do a code update, and it is something the Tree Council would probably like to do. The first thing they tackled was the street trees.
An article in the newspaper somewhere just to educate people that this is a good thing to do.
Okay. Because also if you send me an email, I could forward it to the Tree Council. They might be able to work with you on an article or something like that too. Yeah.
I will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else not associated with a project that wants to address the board? There's nobody online, Laura?
Nope.
Okay. Why don't we start with the EAFs? The first EAF is EAF 2025-11, 6th Street, Gerard, major subdivision. Lou, would you like to address the board?
Yes. Hi, I'm Lou Lisi. How are you? I'm the owner of this project. This started out to be a 21-acre parcel of land in the town, and we built 4 homes under a minor subdivision approval. So we're now seeking to build 1 more home. So now that puts us into a major. So we're here for a major subdivision approval for the 1 more home to be built on the site. So we'll have, I think it's 5 homes built on 21 acres of land with a lot of forest. Yeah. That's it.
I think one of the questions was, there was a lot of concern last time about the drainage and stuff.
Yes.
If you could just talk to that a little bit, because
Okay.
people not on the board.
Little history on this parcel. This parcel makes up the Pocinelli farm, which incorporated 2 existing subdivisions, which is on Angelina and on Rao Road. This was a parcel which had at one point 67 lots at 15,000 square feet. A sewer line was installed across the parcel to provide sewers to a certain part of town, and the town had agreed to give them kind of a special zoning district of 15,000 square foot lots. So Angelina got developed by the Serafinis, and I think the other Pocinelli family developed a parcel on Rao Road. And what was left over was a piece owned by the Pocinellis and a piece owned by the Valentines. They're all children of the Pocinelli family. I purchased a parcel from Valentine, and a portion of the Pocinelli parcel, which was landlocked, I added to my parcel. So it was designed for the first phase, which is on Angelina. The drainage study was designed to handle stormwater for the entire site of 67 houses. And that was been installed on the Angelina parcel. That was the first parcel being developed, and that was the lower parcel, and all the upstream parcels were dumping their stormwater in the future into that drainage system. So we've now updated that drainage report. I think it got submitted to the town this week, and there was some comments from Doug Cole that are being addressed. But the report pretty much says the downstream pipes were sized for 70 homes. We're only putting 5 homes, and we're leaving probably half the site is still green. So that was the entire report. I think it wasn't that long. I mean, it got submitted last week or the week before. So
It's actually 200 pages long, so I took the appendices out,
Yeah.
but I did put a note that if you guys want to see the appendices, so it has all the normal stormwater graphs, and it has the old study attached, and it has the Pocinelli study attached. What I pulled up is part of the report that was submitted. This just kind of shows the way that the stormwater breaks down across this site, but you can also see some of the parcels that have been developed around it.
So the water flows from right to left, right? And it exits up near the corner.
I'm sorry.
The water goes from.
The
right
water
to
goes
left?
from the south.
Oh, from the south up.
Yes, Angelina it runs north. Well, it's actually running on the map north to Angelina.
Okay.
So if you look, you'll see 2 homes on Post 1, which is the 11-acre parcel.
Mhm.
So the first house drains towards Angelina. The second house is my house, which drains towards, well, not really towards, it goes across to the left.
Mhm.
There's a stream back there. It's a large stream that's been there for, it drains through the Wemple farm. Post 2, the 10.10, there's 2 homes there, and those drain towards Rao Road.
Okay.
So
And the new house that you're proposing is.
the third house, if you look at Post 1, I don't know if I can walk.
Do you want to take the microphone with you?
What's that?
I can get it for you. You can take the microphone with you.
This thing moves.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So the new home.
There.
Okay. Thank
Might be
you.
easier to see.
Yeah. Was this not? Okay. This is existing. The new home is going here. There's a catch basin here which picks stormwater, which goes to Angelina, then it goes across and it goes across the Wimple farm. That's where all the stormwater goes.
And that originally was designed for many more houses.
That was designed for almost 70 houses. Yeah. The pipe system that's in Angelina. Correct. Correct. So we agreed, we got the minor, we relinquished all the rights to those 15,000 square foot lots just for 4 houses.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for Mr. Lacy?
Excuse me, yeah, for this, you've already clear cut the land and you're just gonna build between, or you've already cleared out the trees where you're gonna build this?
There wasn't, yes, there's no trees there. That's correct. There wasn't much tree there at all.
Okay.
All the trees where it says post 1, 11 acres, all that trees, that all stays. That's all treed, and the behind my house is all treed. Right there, that's all treed.
So I just have this is a sidebar question. Just in the future, would you welcome someone to come and look at your property, for invasive species within your property of that we have a lot of invasive species and plants.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
In Niskuna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look at this map, put this still on. This whole parcel here is all wooded on this side, and then behind that lot and behind my house is all still wooded.
So your survey is showing the edges of the existing woodland here.
Yes.
And I think Chuck's saying the house would go here and this would probably be the yard. So you're not really expecting any more trees to come down.
Oh, no, not at all. No, there's no more trees to come down. Yeah, to the north is the paper street. That is not paved. The actual crusher run in that street exists, but that's going to stay green, and that's where the driveway will come off to that home.
So do we want to go through the checklist for this particular project?
Yeah, I mean, I know we saw it a meeting or two ago, and it would be helpful to have a secret recommendation at the end of this meeting.
Okay.
We made sure that the stormwater had a couple rounds, so Clark has been going back and forth with the TDE, and we had a couple internal meetings about the drainage as well.
Mhm.
He's tying the existing sanitary sewer into the main that already goes across the property, right? Correct, Lou?
Yeah, like Laura said, we had a very good meeting at Town Hall at the Schaefer Room with Lou and his engineer and our TDE and some of the older drainage study that Lou mentioned. And everyone had a nice discussion, really in-depth discussion on that, strategized on how to approach the drainage study for this lot. And that's what Lou's team is working on and our TDE is reviewing. So we have a pretty good line of sight on what we're doing there.
Clark, is this part of the watershed that goes down by the school at all? Where does this actually end up in the, where's the outfall into the Mohawk?
I'm not exactly sure, but I do not believe it impacts the school.
No, it would be,
No, it doesn't.
it's
go.
between
go
Knowles
down.
and
No.
GE.
It goes
It's
across.
GE?
Yeah, it goes to GE.
Okay.
Yeah, it runs along parallel to Van Antwerp. Once it gets by the Wemple farm.
Yeah, I can sort of vision that, but I
Yeah.
wasn't sure downstream if everything
Gotcha.
kept on going
Gotcha.
east.
Then it goes to the GE area.
Okay.
I have a question. So it proposes to create a fifth slot, and then the study about the impact of the fifth slot, like the stormwater and the drainage. what's the cumulative impact of all the lots together, not just the single one?
The drainage report is taking that into account. They're as if all 4 parcels, how that affects the drainage from not just the 5th lot,
No,
but all
just
5 lots.
All 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because he did a 4-lot subdivision 5 years ago or so, and the planning board wanted to make sure that if he added another lot, it would be considered a major subdivision. So all of the design drawings that he's doing now actually take into account the 4 lots that have already been built plus the new one. And that's just so that you're not looking at it piecemeal, you're looking at it holistically. Yeah, it's a really good question.
Okay, Laura, why don't we go through?
Okay, yeah, I'll bring them up. So I'm sure you saw the environmental assessment form in your packet is the old form, but it has the same information. Lou will redo it for the final, but the questions are really the same. It's just they changed the matrix of the way that they put them in. So he will update it to the modern form, but the answers will remain the same. And so our responses will also be the long form. So our first question is on the impact on land. Would the proposed action involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site? I'm sorry, you can't really see that. Let me zoom in a little more. I think for subdivisions, we say yes, because typically they are
Yeah.
disturbing a little. And the long form, it's a lot more complicated than the one we usually fill out. So we're looking at if the water table is less than 3 feet, if it involves construction on slopes of 15% or greater, if there's areas where bedrock is exposed, if he's going to excavate more than 1,000 tons of natural material. So a lot of these, well, my recommendation is that all of these are really no or small impact. But if you had any other things you wanted to note, we could note them in other. Because a 5-lot really just doesn't trigger any of these things. Okay.
I don't think there's any other.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know the drainage is an issue. We can talk about that on one of the later questions. The impact to the geological features. Would the proposed action result in a modification or destruction of any unique or unusual landforms on the site, like cliffs, dunes, minerals, fossils, or caves? I think no.
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 Yeah.
So I'm sorry. So just on the last one, so I sorry. I believe it is. Obviously, it's not going to take. It says, if it'll take longer than 1 year, but it says the proposed action may result in increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal, including from treatment by herbicides. So if it's all natural and we go to a lawn service and pesticides, then that is much different than what is currently being used and then dumped into the system. So I would like to at least acknowledge that it could be a possibility, because once it's not in our purview to be able to regulate that per New York State. So I believe that is.
So you want to put notes saying that there's a potential for more.
I do, because
side.
I
Okay.
believe that we only.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
What
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
allowable by New York State, and it is clear that those pesticides do affect our groundwater and our air.
I think that is a pretty typical note that we put on, just that we don't normally do the long form.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll
Yep.
put that there.
Okay.
That's fine.
I apologize for.
No, that's.
Yeah, they sort of get at the same thing as the short form, but they're not all the same.
Yeah.
Impacts on surface water. Will the proposed action affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies? I think the wetlands, your redelineation of the wetlands are on here, Lou. Is that right? Do you have the wetlands delineated on this map?
What's that, Laura?
Do you have the wetlands delineated on this map?
Yeah, were the
I thought they were.
I don't see.
I guess this is the delineations, this area here.
Oh, right here.
And then it's on the other side as well, right?
And it's on, yeah, it continues to the other side, correct.
So the proposal is to not disturb any wetlands and stay out of the 25-foot buffer as well, correct?
Right.
So, yep. So I think the answer is no, and we could just put a note that says the proposal is not proposing to go into the wetlands or the 25-foot buffer.
And yeah, we're just going to defer to Clark and the studies that they have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Impact on groundwater. The proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or have potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer. That's probably.
That might be the appropriate place for you to put your comment. Right.
I think it's actually better on the first
Oh, you think
question.
it's better on the other?
Yeah,
That's fine.
because this is kind of like wells and drilling into the
Okay,
aquifer.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
I haven't read one of these in a while, so
I know we don't do the long form a lot.
I haven't.
Yeah, because this is like a drinking water source.
Right.
This is all drinking water stuff.
So are they planning to put any wells?
Oh, no.
No,
No.
a water well there. Okay.
Oh,
Some
there's
people-
a underground water line that runs across the property as well, right?
Yeah, there's.
And you would
underground
just
sewer
tap
and
into the
yeah,
water. Yeah.
correct. So it has public water and sewer.
Yeah,
and the
some
town-
people
the
do
town
wells
has
for
a
pools.
right-of-way, right?
Yeah.
The town has the easement. It's a
Yeah.
town line, and he would be putting a
Yep.
private connection into
It's
it.
been
Yeah.
there for a while.
But
Yeah.
some people do put wells in for pools.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because it saves on their water bill.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Okay, so impact on flooding. The proposed action may result in development of land subject to flooding. That would be a no because it's
Mhm.
definitely not in a designated floodplain. There's one. Well, there's one question that the proposed action may result in or require modification of existing drainage patterns. But I think it really isn't modifying the existing drainage
No.
pattern.
I think it's contained within the property. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What the,
Absolutely.
Impacts on air. The proposed action may include a state regulated air emission source. That is a no. See, because a lot of these are meant for kind of bigger projects. Impact on plants and animals. The proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna. So again, it probably doesn't rise to any of the
there's
ones that are
impact.
pinpointed, but you could put notes in other. Because it's not converting more than 10 acres of forest or anything like that. But I mean, here I think we typically talk about, I mean, I know the forest was kind of cleared as part of the other subdivision, but clearing of the forest and adding the
Yeah.
is an impact to the flora and fauna.
Yeah.
So do we want to recommend planting native species and low mow and pesticide free?
Always.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear that.
that's
We
a recommendation.
it's a
So
recommendation.
we always
What's that?
recommend that when you go to, work with whoever's going to do your landscaping, that
Yeah.
you choose native plants to New
We've
York.
done that in the past.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
no
that
problem.
you, and that, instead of the red maples, and stuff like that, that you.
I know she was like, I know. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
that you, where, you move towards things that are, natural.
Matter of fact, we've got trees that we have to put up, remember, for the 4 lots.
Yes, you have an escrow for that.
But
yeah.
we have to pick the trees and where they're going to go. So most people don't want them on their front lawns.
Yeah, we did.
know?
Yeah, that's a tree council thing, but they did do that walkthrough. We can revive that because we
Yeah,
do still have the
yeah.
escrow for that.
The
Yeah.
neighbors don't want them on their lawn. So they don't, we're going to put them right there. They don't want.
We do have to get approval from the engineering department, but we did think we could put them in the cul-de-sac at the end of Angelina and some other places
Okay.
too.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That works.
Okay, let's go on to the agricultural.
Okay. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources. And no,
I
No.
don't think so.
it used to be at Orchard, right, Lou? But it
What's
hasn't been. Didn't this land used to be an orchard?
Yes.
Yeah, but it hasn't been an orchard for a long, long
A
time.
long time ago. Long.
Impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource,
I think that's minimal.
right? Because it's a single family home surrounded by single family homes. 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. The proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource.
That didn't get flagged by SHPO. Did that properly at all?
No.
I don't think so. Nope.
Yeah.
It may flag as overall, like SHPO sometimes when you
overall.
make that map.
Yeah.
But I don't, there wasn't any historic homes.
There wasn't anything there.
No, it was just for, well, I think it used to be an orchard and
Yeah.
then it grew in. Yeah. Impact on open space and recreation. The proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or a reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan.
I think that's minimal.
Impact on critical environmental area. The proposed action may be located within or adjacent to a critical environmental area. That one's a no. We don't have those in Niskuna. Impact on transportation. The proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems.
No.
Yeah, so no road is being proposed. And it's really just it's the addition of one vehicle trip, probably. Well, really, it's 5, but anyway. Impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy.
Nope.
So again, these things are big, the 2,500 per year of electricity, but we could put in here if you guys wanted just the LED lights. I think you always use LED lights
Yeah.
anyway, right? And energy efficient construction.
Is that even an option not to do LED lights?
I don't think it is anymore.
No,
You
I
can't
don't
find the
think
other
so.
ones.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen an
Yeah.
incandescent bulb in a long time.
And the new building code is pretty strict on having very energy efficient homes. So
Yeah, and I would just suggest, you're in a secluded area, so just, any, motion lights or stuff like that, that instead of having lights on all night long that disturb animals, right? So if you leave your lights on all night long, it produces a pattern that affects animals. But if you only have motion lights, then they only go on when there's a motion. And then if you have to video somebody or something or whatever,
Gotcha.
you still have that, but it still allows for a night sky. So
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
just
So impact on noise, odor, and light. The proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting. I think the answer is no, but we could put your comment that you just said here, Ellen.
just
Yeah,
from nothing to something.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Impact on human health. The proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants.
no.
No. And I think we're getting consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with an adopted land use plan.
No, it's consistent.
Right. It's a double negative.
Yeah.
But a single family home there would be consistent with their comprehensive plan, or 5 single family homes.
Yeah.
And consistency with community character. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character.
No, again, it's consistent.
It is consistent.
And I want to just make a note. There was actually in our code an exemption for this property to have smaller than allowed in our zoning lots, and it will no longer apply because Mr. Lisi has developed it, but it could have taken something like 60 lots.
Yeah.
And it was grandfathered in to have
Oh,
those
the
lots.
the old plan?
Yeah, the old
Yeah.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Same lots, yeah.
I do think the town benefits from the much smaller development of the land.
So do the animals.
Yeah, no, I agree. I
We
mean,
can't live without them. Can't live without the insects. Everybody else can live
No,
without
no,
us, but we
no,
can't live without
no.
them. So
so do we have a motion on the table?
a motion for a negative deck of the what is it called? Our,
Fix St. Gerard subdivision.
Yeah, I
Yes.
called it 6-3.
hmm
Okay, I will second that. Negative deck, including the comments that were made and going through the questions.
So Ellen and Dart.
Okay, all in favor of granting a negative deck, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none,
Thank
motion
you.
carries.
Have a good night. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Mhm.
Just because I'm fairly new, like I
Yeah.
got it from context, but can you just explain the terms negative deck?
Yeah. So a negative declaration,
Declaration.
yeah, means that you're recommending that the lead agency find that there's no environmental impact that rises to the level of needing to develop an environmental impact statement.
Yeah.
And if you do a positive declaration, that means that you have enough concern that there is some active, positive sort of force that could disrupt the environment, in which case they would need to go into a much more detailed study of what the environmental impacts would
Okay.
be.
It was mostly the shortening of the word declaration.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
we had said, we don't normally do the long forms because we don't actually get that many major subdivisions. So, but that's why we were looking at that one.
Okay. So let's move on to the second EAF. That's EAF 2026-1, 2690 Balltown Road, and this is GE Venova, and it's a site plan for a security office and plaza, or building and plaza.
Awesome. Thanks for having me here today. Matt Savoy. I'm with GE Vernova. I'm the facilities operations leader. Happy to be here today to talk about the security center we're looking at for 2690 Balltown Road. If it's okay, start with a little project description.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to try and make this a little bigger.
Okay.
It's like page 50 or something.
I'm going to try.
45. Sorry.
See if that works.
Awesome. All right. So what you see here depicted in front of you, the road with the traffic, that's Balltown Road, and this is the existing entryway into that property there. Last year we came to you guys and we designed a very small, less than 100 square foot structure,
Yep.
just to do some level of security control at the property. Because, you know, even the other day we found somebody on property that didn't belong there come off the bike trail, right? So from a security perspective, we need to make sure the property is secure, right? So as people come to the center, you know, we bring them into this area, they'd park, they'd come in. That's where we do with credentialing, right? So we bring lots of folks on campus, including 4 nationals. So like from a national security perspective, we actually have an obligation to the government as well. The way we screen those people and make sure, again, only people that have good business reason to be there or are allowed from a national perspective to be there are on property and looking at things. So we bring people in, we make sure we do the proper screening, we give them a credential for the day. That would all get done in that facility. It also allows us, we programmed about, I think it's a 10-person conference room in there. It's a small room, but it allows us also to have the opportunity to host people outside of a secured perimeter, right? So there might be times, let's say that 4 nationals showed up and they got a good business reason to be there, but they didn't show up. They didn't give us credentialing in time. We didn't run background checks. We can still meet with them and have an informal discussion outside of a secured perimeter, right? So we've got some ability as well. We've thought through of how we can, you know, because this is about 1,750 feet from that guard check. We talked about how far into the property everything else is. This is the one thing that's out there. So it does give us some physical separation. You know, if we did have a breach in security and someone, you know, came all the way down, we would have the ability to, with radios, right, to communicate. Obviously, you can see fairly well landscaped. In the front, you'll see a interactive sculpture as well. There you go. Thank you, Laura. That's currently depicted in what we're calling a fountain. It's more like what I call pool. You know, for the interactive piece, you'll see in front there, ADA accessibility right off the top, and then obviously down into that plaza. You know, the thought being you bring, let's say, a group of 15 or 20 people on site from Paris, right? They're going to want to take a picture or something. Where do you give them that kind of photo opportunity, right? You bring in people. Where is that interactive opportunity? You know, we've also talked about, right, this is a nice area. Let's say you came out, you went down the road to Meat and Company, you got yourself a brisket sandwich like I tend to do. Maybe you come back here, you park and you eat it. And, you know, right, it's kind of a nice area for people to enjoy. So we've tried to elevate the look of it. for our employees, for our visitors, and also for the community, because this again will be our forward-facing image to the community, because everything else we've done, really the community doesn't see or feel, right? So we want to make sure too, from a corporate perspective, we have that presence in town, and that, you know, we've done a lot with you guys, we've done a lot with the planning board and Aaron, my supervisor, but you know, to the general community, right, we haven't had that presence, and this would be a welcoming way that we could show the community that we're here and we're invested and we're excited to be here for the long term. You know, that's a cool picture. That's actually a integrated stormwater management practice. That's a rain garden that we've integrated in here. So that's a perforated metal bridge, right? So where we're going to do some stormwater management practices underneath, again, integrating those environmental features directly into the project. So on the backside, we've looked at doing what you see kind of in front of you here, which is more, again, I'll use the word like park-esque, right? So you see just benches, areas to walk, nothing substantial. But again, if you grab a sandwich or you want a place to sit, or, you know, maybe a visitor's come and your host is busy, right? You got to wait for a half hour for your host. If it's a nice day out, 9-10 months out of the year here, you could potentially go out there and sit, and it could be enjoyable. You know, everything from, like, for example, I could put Wi-Fi coverage out there. You could hook right up to your computer and do email. So that's kind of what you see back here is general park-like feel. Then there's a nighttime render. You'll see some of the low lighting, you know, things like we've done in the past. Keeping light levels low. That's a tongue twister. Things like halo lit signs. So working through that with the designers too, to obviously make sure that it is visible, but obviously not intrusive.
Would that be the only night lighting that you have, or would there be overhead lights as well?
Other than what you see here, just on the drive. So that's traffic management lights on the drive-in. You'll have lights like we do today, right? Other than that, this is kind of the lights.
So this is truly the lighting. It's just not accent lighting.
Correct. That is the intention, is keeping it low.
Yeah.
The biggest focus around that walkway is safety, right? So making sure we do have it illuminated enough.
Mm-hmm.
So as they get through it, right, we've asked for, and that's kind of why you see the low lighting there, right? How do you try to keep lights physically low to illuminate that sidewalk, but not, you know, light pollution from above? So that's kind of why you see the intended light there.
The reason why I asked was over on the left-hand side. If you go back, Laura, it looks like there's a lot of light. Or is that in that rendering?
Yeah, I think that's the light pole for the road back there. So you'll kind of,
Oh, okay.
that's where the main road comes
Okay.
into property. And you can probably see it on the next page Laura had there, the site plan. a little
So the
better.
sign won't light up.
No, the site would be lit.
The sign,
The sculpture there would be
the
lit.
GE Nova
Correct,
sign will be
yes.
lit up.
Yeah, which is actually rendered here. So it has an outline,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So again, it's very subtle. It's not meant to be.
And it'll be every day, all night?
It's a 24-hour facility, right? We do have people in and out.
Is that red? I'm seeing that the lighting is red there on the side.
No, the lighting would
It's just
be
white.
it's a white.
It's a white light.
Yeah.
Oh, so the GE insignia is not going to light up like it does on Erie.
No, not that look. from
That's
here.
what I was.
The bulbs.
Yeah.
No, so this is. It's funny you bring that up, because actually that was kind of the inspiration for this a bit. Right, we're not General Electric. We're GE Vernova. We don't have anything. Everyone thinks of that sign, right? The GE
Yeah.
and the meatballs downtown Schenectady. That's what everyone thinks of. What's the GE Vernova, and what's Vernova ARC Advanced Research Center's image to the community? So this was kind of actually a play on that a little bit. So it's kind of interesting you brought that up. But yeah, no big light bulbs like that's being screwed in. No.
I'm just surprised to see it, because I thought that would be like trademarked and protected. And
GE Vernova or
no, the GE. I don't know the corporate structure.
Yeah,
but
so-
I thought something like that would be fought over. And that would
Yeah,
be-
so the history you probably don't need to know or care about, but we are GE Vernova is allowed to use the meatball in this config. We call it the meatball, the emblem.
Yeah.
Allowed to use it in this configuration with GE Vernova. We can't use it as a standalone identifier, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're allowed to use it from a trademark perspective in this way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we want to honor, right, the history we have. I mean, there's a long history of General Electric, the Electric City, Niskayuna. We've been here for a long time. We want to honor that history, but with the nod towards the future and the sustainability things we're trying to do as an organization.
And Matt, I thought when we met, you talked about potentially there's solar panels on the
It looked
roof.
like there were solar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
panels
okay,
back in
yeah.
the Building.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
so our intention is for solar on the roof. Yep.
Intention or?
That is the design intention, yeah.
Okay. And that will power all those lights, all those night lights?
So right now, I don't have a full net zero building, but we are powering most of this site off the solar.
And so I just didn't see where the break was for the compliance for ADA. So is that right is that right next to where the parking, where they park? Like for their access to get onto the sidewalk? Or is it someplace else?
It's right off that parking lot.
So do they have to go around? Do they have to I'm just curious because, for someone who uses a wheelchair or something, so when they park, they have to get into there and then come around, or do they go forward?
Yeah, I don't know, Laura, if you can flip
The other one? This one?
I didn't see it.
there or the site plan.
Oh, site plan?
Yeah, right there. Where do they have to go to get?
Yeah, so ADA parking is in the front there.
Yeah,
That would be an ADA curb directly into that visitor center.
yeah.
And if they wanted to come down into the plaza, you could come around into the first section here. That is accessible, and then this is accessible as well.
Right. So is there a curb? There's no curb?
No.
There's no curb?
No.
Okay.
Fully ADA. And that's actually a strong focus of ours. And we do have some employees that use wheelchairs.
So, but there is a curb where they park their cars.
There'd be a curb cut for the ADA compliance.
Probably right here, probably. Is it on the site plan?
Okay. It looked like there was a curb there.
Oopsie.
So just a couple questions. Could
Mhm.
you talk about the pavement? Is it impervious pavement? Is it
Yeah.
not?
So both. There's sections of pervious and impervious. I think the impervious pavers, there's two larger sections of those. Those come back into more so I mentioned integrated stormwater management, right?
Mhm.
So we have some permeable pavement. We've got the rain gardens. Those are two elements specifically to that stormwater management plan that we're utilizing.
Okay, and is that in the patio area? Is that, if you could just sort of generally,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're
All
labeled
that
permeable
is-
pavers.
It's labeled on this site plan, Laura. Yeah.
So are you going to have to change the soil underneath the permeable pavers, or will it just go into the existing soil? Here?
That is a technical question that if you'd like an answer, I can bring up one of our technical folks here.
Like, do you have to add structural soil under them to make them work?
Good evening. My name's Peter Lilholtz with CT Mel Associates. I'm the division manager of Civil Engineering and Land Services, working with GE Vernova on the project and several other members of the multidiscipline design team. The plan is being developed by Fuss and O'Neill. We'll prepare the SWIP. We are doing geotechnical evaluation to look at what the soil conditions are, and we'll do percolation tests. Based on the results of that, we'll come up with a section of what needs to be done. Could be a stone reservoir. This is not sandy soils here, so it may have somewhat shallow groundwater, which will be a consideration, and it's going to be designed in accordance with the New York State Stormwater Management Design Manual. If we can count it toward infiltration, we will. If we won't, we'll still take advantage of porous concrete where it makes sense, but we may not get credit toward infiltration practices. All to be determined.
Okay.
But it will be engineered.
Your proposal mentions focus on sustainable design features. So what are those mainly on the materials being used, or are you thinking of specific green building design?
Yeah, so definitely a high focus on sustainability here. Again, I've talked about this as our forward facing image to the community, right? And we're a energy sustainability type company. So it's everything from design features, right? So we talked about integrated stormwater management. It's things like material procurement and selection. It's things like we talked about solar. We're looking at things inside the building as well from like a fixture perspective. We have hired a sustainability consultant. She's out of Averill Park. We're utilizing her to help us, go through this and plan and look at the architect's drawings and give us feedback. On the wood types, for example, the low flow filtration. We've looked at potentially metering, like certain toilet fixtures and things to have a really good idea of what we're doing in that building. From a data acquisition perspective, I have the ability to put a system in as well then to take all that data in, and really this would kind of be the showpiece building where I could show you exactly what we're doing from an energy perspective in that building in a model. So that's that's the hope, is to get there where I can show you exactly kind of how this is a living, breathing organism out there. And that's, I'm hoping, something I can showcase in the building as well, right?
That's exciting, right?
And the glass on the front is all that glass is
Bird safe.
bird safe.
Yeah, I'll double check, but I believe so.
So I'm looking at the rendering now, and clearly there's cut lawn out front there, but
Correct.
how much more of an impact on the canopy or the trees do you anticipate with this in?
Yeah, so there's not actually a lot of trees back there. There's a lot of scrub brush in back behind I'll say the open fieldy area in the front there. So that was actually something we looked at. There's a couple of pines on the front end of the property that would come down right at the roadway. You see a pretty substantial amount of trees getting planted in these drawings. Those 3 pines there kind of block the view into the entire property from the road. Again, behind that, there's not much. There's nothing really large caliber we found back there.
And how far off Balltown Road?
205 feet, I believe.
205 feet?
There's a picture as well that we did provide that has that dimension on it. Oh,
Sorry,
it's all right.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a scale on that.
Yeah.
Laura, if you want to maybe go back to the site plan too, it shows an aerial backdrop.
It does.
The existing tree line, which is, it's a little hard to see because it's ghostly.
Yeah.
But Laura, if you want, the same view of the park, maybe park them,
Did Matt send it?
I'm sorry, we can't hear whoever is speaking.
Clark, I don't know if you had the ability to pull up that picture I sent y'all earlier. Just
Let
for
me,
perspective.
actually, I don't think I can. Let me check.
Mhm. I just embedded a picture into the PowerPoint.
No, I got it, Clark. Oh, I see. I got it. All right, I'll share.
So have you, so I see that the energy efficiency, and it's much appreciated. And I like the fact that, I'm hoping that you'll, obviously move towards, native plants,
Mhm.
but also, things that, that are, much needed in our area are just, our bees, you know what I mean? This kind of stuff that, even the ones that are, the pollinating bees, but that are not the stinging bees, and, there was one other thing I was thinking of, but it escapes me for a second. So if I think of it, I'll bring it up.
Okay. Yeah, on the plant side of it, I think we've done well so far collaborating with Laura and the team. The intention is all the same plants and species that we've shown you all, which are all native and non-invasive.
Yay. Got it. I didn't realize it was a PowerPoint. Okay, there
It
it is.
doesn't have much in it, just one picture. But 204 feet and then 150 foot back, that's the corner of the building. So where you see the little guy at the yellow vest in the top corner, that's the corner of the building. So I wanted to give you guys some perspective. We took this drone shot at about 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, so it's close.
So most of the existing kind of open space will be part of the kind of like you're proposing for that area to be kind of the low-mo perennial kind of field that you have at your other site, right? Yeah.
So where's the guy? Because I'm sorry, I don't.
He's right.
He's right at the end of the 150.
150, okay. I wasn't sure if that was a person or just like
So I had him put our yellow
a
vest
phone or
on.
something.
We tried a stick and you couldn't see the stick.
And the trees you're talking about, this whole clump would go, or the ones that were behind?
Yeah, it's that front clump we've been looking at.
This whole clump would go. And you would re-landscape around the sign, probably, or maybe take it down depending on ZBA.
Yeah, yep.
That sign would be replaced.
Yeah, that,
It may be replaced.
It may be replaced.
Correct. So that, coming down Balltown with the building set back, right? You still need to be able to see the address and everything for people to see it when they approach, that they don't slam on their brakes and cause an accident behind them. If we don't put a sign at the road, I'm concerned that you're going to have traffic coming right up Balltown towards the aqueduct. And then they're like, oh, crap, I'm supposed to turn. And you're going to
you
have
might
an
want to turn
accident.
it 90 degrees so people can see it, but yeah, I think that's logical. Makes sense. I do notice that in the rendering, it looks like it's going to be all mowed grass, so that people do have a clear visual into the signage area. Whereas right now it's not. So.
Yeah, so you see some of those
Oh, I see what
low-mo
you- yeah,
natural.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
I'll call it meadowish.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You think it'll just be a seed mix, or are you gonna plant? Yeah, probably a
Seed
seed
mix
mix,
out there.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that would put some bird boxes out there. That'd be a really nice, area to have lunch. Yeah.
Does anybody on the board have any other questions or comments?
This is just a general comment. So one of the things we do look at is the character of the neighborhood. And I know this is a neighborhood. I know it's your property, and it's been in GE's portfolio for quite some time, and there hasn't been anything there. So what I would like to express is the fact there will be a significant change. That change will create opinions. I think those opinions, will come probably back to you and to us, because there's nothing there now. And so I would encourage, and if you any kind of change management, community relation management, to get this out into the community. Clearly, I think it's a significant representation of GE and specifically Renova. I think it speaks to the community and kind of the heart of who we are as a community. And I do think some of the lighting and it's modern, it will draw some attention. And so it's just, I think if you go forward, or if this project does go forward, that those issues be presented to the community in a way that they can consume it. And it really shows the spirit not only of GE but also of the community, and what we've mentioned today, which is commitment to our own local environment. So I think so I want that to be expressed some way, because I do feel like there might be a reaction that is negative, not because it's not appreciated, but because it's something new.
Sure. Yeah, and we've been working very closely with Laura in the office here, so continue to take their guidance and whatever we need to do, happy to do so.
And we have a technical question on the environmental assessment form. It does mark that this is peregrine falcon territory.
You want to come out of that?
Good evening, I'm Pete Loveholt from CT Mail. We assisted in preparation of the short EAF and utilized the EAF mapper to complete some of the components that included. As you all know, it's a 195-acre parcel, and because of that and the buffers that are built into the EAF mapper, there are some hits there. So not been on the site a ton, never seen a peregrine falcon out front, and there's no indication necessarily that there'll be any loss of habitat for them there. But so that came up, was flagged by the EAF mapper. We completed the EAF accordingly, but I don't see that as a concern.
I'm not like a peregrine falcon expert, although we might have one sitting in the audience. But if there is something that accommodates peregrine falcons, like maybe you could add that into the site plan, like on the edges. Like I imagine it's not a bird box, but if there is something that accommodates them, maybe you could.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
just gonna
Yeah.
say-
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
probably
they're
not that.
bird of prey.
I mean, obviously they're a lot smaller, but I know like sometimes they build like little stands for bald eagle nests because they're so heavy. They're like 1,200 pounds sometimes. Obviously, you would not need to do that for peregrine, but I don't know, even if it's just like an owl sized box or something.
We can research that. Good
I
suggestion.
would definitely say that I haven't seen peregrine falcons here myself, but we do have lots of owls, and we do have lots of habitat that is being lost to owls, and to hawks and ground nesting birds.
Mhm.
Lots of the ground nesting birds are suffering immensely. Terrible because there are no safe places for them to stay, and because of the pesticides, and
So fortunately, as Matt described and shown in the renderings, I mean, right now it's kind of, most of it's manicured lawn. There's actually not a whole lot of tree removal proposed. Most of it's a recurrent growth, but we're trying to return it to a more natural environment as well. So I think it will provide greater opportunities for wildlife habitat once we're done.
I'm thinking of it's not Vernova, because you're on that side. Who's on the other side now?
We have GE Aerospace on the side of the bike path, and we have Momentive on our other property line.
Okay.
Yeah, Momentive has the huge front lawn,
Yeah.
Yeah. which we've been working on with them.
So I think everyone's got their bearings here now that it's brought up, but actually the orientation here is north is to the bottom of the
Yeah.
page. Balltown is on the right.
Yeah.
The site's to the left.
And there's a neighborhood across the street, right? That's that other.
They're set back a little
Riley,
bit, yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. The parcel actually directly across the street from this property, like on this part of the corner, is zoned RP, and it's meant to be a professional office building.
Huh.
And then on this side, it's like the wetlands, and there's a big power line. And then on this corner, it's GE's kind of got some grass, and then the wetlands continue over on that side.
Yeah.
And this is just my like sort of car assessment, but I think it's largely buckthorn. I think that area is just a giant patch of buckthorn from when I've been kind of near it. So
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah. So there may be some benefit to clearing it out and adding the diversity and the different elevations of trees and landscaping and things.
Yeah, I mean, we have brought this up repeatedly. Every time somebody from GE comes in front of us, is that we, you own an enormous amount of property, and there is tons and tons of invasive species, and there's so many things that that would be helpful to not just our community, but to the Adirondacks, just for everywhere. Like if it's a long thing that needs to be get after, but I mean, and everybody, I mean, you have resources, and you're building a welcome center that is, lovely. It's lovely, but it is taking away from green space. But it'd be nice to see, an invasive species plan come forth from a sustainability perspective, from such a large company that has had such a foothold in this community for so long.
Yeah, glad you brought that up. Actually,
Yeah,
Laura,
we've talked about
Laura
this.
was on property with me last fall, and we actually, I think probably the first place I'd look to target would be the wetlands we have.
Mhm.
We have some invasive species that we identified, and Laura's got some pretty great expertise there.
Yeah.
So actually, I asked for a little bit of help
Mhm.
and said, maybe this spring or summer we can get a little help doing some identification and start to understand the problem, and then figure out what we could do to tackle it. But wetlands would be the place that I'd probably look to start first.
because his wetlands are largely intact, but there's a small section of Phragmites. So we may have a chance to pull the Phragmites out before it takes over. So we had actually on a site visit started to identify some of the invasive species and talked about like a day where we could go through and try and help.
So I would highly recommend that you do it well before the fall. I mean, you do it before they start to grow so you can see them. So if you go in late February, early March, you can walk it. Everything is still sort of frozen, but you get an idea of where the stuff is, and
Okay.
and there's people, other people. I mean, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the means, but I have walked with people who can, pick it out, right off the rip.
Great suggestion.
And
Yeah.
and then once you mark it, then you can then I mean, even if like you go up to Thatcher Park or whatever, they have actually even like black tarped sections to try to stop the
Oh,
in
awesome.
the cold, so that when it tries to grow in the spring, it doesn't.
Oh,
So
cool. Awesome. No, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I volunteered to help GE with that because I know they do have some issues with people going on the property. So
Well,
I felt like I
was
could
gonna-
help.
I was going to ask that related question because we had talked to GE about a natural resource inventory. And I understand that GE is concerned about people going on there, but would you be open if we had a small group of people? We don't have a grant right now, but in the next grant, rather than having a lot of people go on your property, but
Yeah.
have a naturalist come with us when we survey the property? It would be really important. We're really trying to get a handle on the town itself, and
Yeah.
it would be really helpful for us.
In general, no consternation there.
Okay.
If the grant comes through, let's talk about it. But yeah, if you've got a resource, it'd be a little silly not to utilize it.
Okay, it's been very successful where we've done it other areas,
Yeah.
and we've really.
We can
been
pick a
helpful.
spot, maybe to pilot or something. Yeah, I'm sure we could work together and figure it out.
Okay, that would be great.
Cool.
Oh, and I just had one more question. I got a question from a member of the public actually because they got excited about the plan and they were wondering, like, would there be a sign, like, because it's going to be so attractive if somebody's just driving down and they're like, oh, what's GE Vernova? Like, would you have like a little, like along the bike path, they have like little things that you can read, like for someone who's actually just stopping in, or would you really not want anybody?
On the bike path, my preference would be no.
No, not the bike path
Okay.
here.
I'm sorry.
Like if some because I know you said it's like a guard station, but like if you walk in, will it have information about GE Vernova?
The intention isn't that it's a visitor center. For
Right, a visitor
public.
center.
This is a security center.
So you wouldn't want to invite anybody coming in with informational signs there.
So we may, if we could invite somebody in, right? But we're not expecting the public on their way to Market 32 or Starbucks to pull in and say, oh, we want to read about your company. That's
Right.
not the intention of
Yeah.
the facility.
That's what I thought, but I had a question about it. I imagine that people, would be excited about it.
Yeah.
I would suggest strongly that you break down who you are, because people know GE, but they don't know that you've divided into 3 companies. They, it's been in the paper maybe once or twice.
I've provided similar feedback to corporate communications.
That, if you put up a sign that says GE Vernova, they're gonna, I'd imagine you're gonna have people stopping in because they don't know who you are. But
Another thought is like Metroplex put a sign actually right up and out front of GE Aerospace, which was a historic sign about GE's sort of original evolution there. But maybe like at the Zenner soccer field or something, that may be the closest place that's kind of normal. You could put one kiosk sign up there that said,
Yeah. I
Here's-
mean, if there was something that like at the soccer park, to your point.
yeah,
that
the
made
soccer
sense,
park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's look at it together. And if that's something the town would entertain, I'm sure we would be willing to partner on that.
Wasn't a lot of people use the
Like
soccer
informational.
fields. Yeah, and then at least there's
Agreed.
some place where they could read about it, and that actually is connected to the bike path, but not right in front of your
Yep.
property,
Yeah,
so
no,
people
exactly.
could learn, but not be like, oh, I want to go there.
Yep.
even on River Road, like say break down the 3 of them.
Well, Aerospace kind of has one already,
Yeah.
actually right outside of itself, because the bike path's right in front of Aerospace.
Anyways.
Are there any other comments or questions that we'd like the applicant to consider? We're early in the process, so Now's the time to make suggestions.
Composting. Whatever you have in there, compost.
And maybe bring that up with your sustainability person and see if she can think of something.
We're having composting conversations currently.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we have a team we call the Green Team on site. So it's a sustainability focused. We call it an ERG, Employee Resource Group. So we actually have a whole volunteer group on campus that is helping us look at these things.
Great. We'll take that volunteer group. Put to work. Look at all your resources.
Okay, if we have no other further questions, thanks for the presentation, and we look forward to the supporting documentation.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have one more EAF, and this is near and dear to Dan.
Oh,
So this is EAF
Chris.
26-2, gas-powered leaf blower restrictions ordinance amendment. So it was included in our packet.
I did want to note that
Laura, do you want to talk a little bit about why we're doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did want to note I rearranged Dan's paragraphs a little bit, just to be a little more specific to the noise and public health together, and then environmental health and emissions. Just because I was given it an extra look over before we were bringing it to the town board. So if you guys want to reread that, I pretty much kept all the words the same. I just rearranged them. But let me know, because I stole Dan's thing and then changed it a little. Sorry, Dan. And then we haven't changed the code at all. So just a reminder, the code says that no one would operate a gas or diesel powered leaf blowing equipment except from October 1st to December 15th. And then leaf blowing, electric and battery powered and plug in would all be allowed at any, under the normal landscaping equipment rules.
so I know that the code has said 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. But has anyone thought to not 7 a.m. or are you allowed to do everything from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
So construction noise is more limited. Construction noise is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the weekends, I believe. I can pull that up. And then, so just, well, let me just go back while I lost it. D is a specific call out for the timing. 142-4C, that's exceptions to our noise ordinance. So that's why you have to put it in both places.
Yeah, Ellen, I thought about that after you mentioned it last month, but I'm a little worried that if we try to fight for that too, it's going to get too bloated and we might lose allies that would be in favor of this, but maybe one step at a time kind of an idea.
Okay, you sold me.
And I'm hoping that the change in machinery would maybe not be as disruptive at 7 a.m. I think in our neighborhood, the challenge is the 6 o'clock diesel powered leaf blower that goes up and down the golf course between the hours of 6 and 7 every morning in golf season.
Which are not allowed to do.
I will gladly share this with them.
We have.
Yeah.
Does this cause a huge hardship for them?
No, that's existing. That's been existing forever. Yeah. No one is allowed to start their landscaping equipment at 6 a.m. We don't even, well, I think we allow garbage pickup starting at 6 a.m., but not before.
Yeah, the one question I had was the town. How does this impact the town? And the reason why it's in my mind is just because of Tuesday's meeting.
Right. So the council member, Bilaski, already asked me this. The noise code is typically enforced by the building inspector if it is kind of like not an imminent threat. Like the police will go out if somebody's having a very rowdy party, but typically noise like the lawnmower issue, or like your car starting it right next to your neighbor's window and it being really loud, like those are enforced by the building department. So I would imagine that leaf blower complaints, if they were to come in, would most likely be enforced by the building department. They would not most likely, they would be, and they would be this addressed, I think, the same way that we address complaints now. So we don't go around with a noisometer in the morning looking for code violations. We're a complaint-driven office, so a neighbor would have to call and complain, and then we'd go out and talk to the people and see if they had a gas power leaf blower, if they were aware of the code. A lot of times it's just a starting conversation can solve it. And then if not, it goes to notice and orders and things like that.
Okay.
I would.
Laura,
Yeah.
are you saying that if someone did call the police, they wouldn't address, like, let's say this gets adopted. If someone did call the police for a landscaping company, the police wouldn't be able to enforce this. They would have to go through your office.
It would usually come through our office.
How does that work? The police, like,
They don't
stop
have,
you.
because they don't have a decibel reader. Like, we are the ones that have the decibel reader. They, law enforcement can, but that's really not their expertise. We wouldn't try and push it off on the police. It's much better off in the building department office.
So I think,
right, how they refer the actual calls if the police were to respond and it came across one.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that does happen occasionally. The police will give us what they found the next day, and then code enforcement follows up with the property owner.
so I
That's
think the
fair.
concept here is it wouldn't be like if somebody started a leaf blower in July, a complaint would be made, so it wouldn't necessarily stop that particular episode of the leaf blower in July, but it would be put on notice that if they did that again, that would be a violation.
Right. Well, I mean, so if this code were adopted and we were enforcing it, I mean, it's adopted, maybe sometimes there's a 30-day waiting period, but generally speaking, if we adopted it in March, it would be ready to go in April. So then if there was a complaint that a gas or diesel powered leaf blower was happening, the building inspector would go out and investigate it. If he's able to go out when they're actually out there, he can talk to them right there. Otherwise, he tends to talk to the property owners and leave a door tag if they're not home. And then we just talk to them afterward and we go back and forth a little bit. One thing that we did talk about, which the town board would want, is that we definitely would have to do some kind of major publication education thing, because we don't want the enforcement to be the first way that people are learning about this. That would not
Yeah.
be
absolutely.
ideal.
No,
We would
absolutely.
want hopefully try to get the word out, try to talk to the companies. But theoretically, if we did all of that outreach, we put things in newsletters and put something in a water bill or whatever we'd want to do, get that out there. And then, you still got the complaint and, the building inspector one. It shouldn't be like from July. It shouldn't take until October for enforcement to work. I mean, sometimes if we have a very non-compliant person, it can take that long. But generally speaking, when a building inspector comes out with a door tag, that usually solves the problem 90% of the time. They're very lovely people, but nobody likes the building
I'm
inspector.
not worried about the property owners as much as I'm worried about if we leave this to when the inspectors can get out there, then the landscaper might be gone. You know what I mean? And then you're talking to the owner about what company did they use. So I guess, like, how do you foresee us being able to notify and, I guess cite a company? Cite's the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, if it's an entity and not the property owner themselves,
So
or are they
really
responsible?
good question, but a property owner is the ultimate authority for what contractor and what a contractor is doing to their property. So we do typically cite the contractor first, but occasionally contractors leave or dissolve their companies, and ultimately landowners don't love this, but they are responsible for anything that happens within their yard that they're paying for. So ultimately, the landowner is responsible to make sure that the company that they're using would be using electric landscaping equipment. Obviously, it'd be better if we can talk to the company directly, but when we aren't able to, or it becomes a really big issue, yeah, it does ultimately fall to the landowner.
Okay.
If this were to be adopted, is there a way for us to get our communications out to any potential landscaping companies as
Yeah.
like a preventative?
Well, I mean, one of you guys was actually working on a list of outreach to them. We could certainly try. The easier way for us is to put something in the mail to every single resident. You know, like a flyer or a little slip of paper that goes out with a tax bill or a water bill. Yeah, which is really expensive, but in this case, it's probably worth doing. That's kind of a town. I mean, I know the town board is going to want to work through these things. So, I mean, maybe we'd also want to put that like in a memo because it definitely goes to what the impact of the adoption of the ordinance would be. But yeah, I do think that you would need to plan for, you know, some cost of getting the word out. So, well, one that's preventative so that there's not so many calls to the
So I think a really nice way to, or I think a good way to communicate this would be when they send out the notices for
leaf pickup.
leaf pickup.
We've done that before. That one isn't as contentious as the water bill sometimes.
Well, I think that just the water bill has a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, it does.
In it, and it, you know, and so you know, having just been in that meeting, they're going to have to also add to that, you know, your lead pipe, you know, stuff and all that. So I think it correlates better with leaf pickup.
Yep.
And
Agree.
what that looks like, and this becomes, and because it coincides
Perfect.
with it. So that would be my suggestion.
But I recall I haven't received the notice for the leaf pickup for the last couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they haven't been sending out. So we only find out from the website.
Oh,
No. You, if you pay to have your, if you pay to have, either you pay or you don't pay to have your
Yard waste,
yard waste.
Yeah.
You're not getting a notice for that?
not for the schedule for the leaf pickup.
Okay, so it's different. The leaf pickup, you're not getting, so when they come to suck up your leaves, you're not getting those notices anymore. That is posted on the website, but you are getting a piece of mail or some communication
That's
for
yard
for the
waste.
clippings.
yes. I was using the
Whether
wrong
you
word.
opt in or opt
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah.
It's yard
Yard
waste.
waste.
You're right, Joy.
Yeah. It's not for,
It's not leaf pickup.
yeah,
It's
leaf
yard
pickup
waste.
is for everyone, and that is not sent anymore. It's posted
Yeah. On the website, yeah.
on the
Yeah,
website.
and we
And
you
in
don't
the-
actually pay for the giant leaf pick. I mean, you do because you pay your taxes,
The-
but the giant
That's not the added.
yeah,
cost, yeah.
the giant like sucker upper thingy
Yeah.
goes to everybody.
Okay.
So, what is the procedure, Laura?
Well, it's kind of up to you. If you guys wanted to add into the memo like a outline of how we would of like steps we'd want to take, like we just talked about adding something to the yard waste, how we do the outreach.
Mhm.
If we wanted to add that to our memo so it's a little bit more palatable, or we could go through and do our secret determination.
I vote do the determination. I think we can answer questions that come up and talk about implementation after.
Yeah.
But I'd love to get this advanced to the committees that come after us.
Yep.
And I don't think it precludes us from, adding to the executive summary later. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Okay,
Me too.
well then, why don't we go through it? Has Elena seen this?
It's been on a couple committee meetings, but I think it should know it hasn't been directly referred to her. So we definitely need to directly refer that to
Do
her.
we anticipate changes being made on this?
Well, I mean, we do have the backup of having looked at a large number of different towns that we could share with her. And then we have updated the noise ordinance in the past, but I'm not an attorney, so
Okay,
She would just need to check
I'm
it.
fine with going through it now and doing the secret determination, but if it gets changed substantially,
Then we would have to come back to
we'd
it.
have to
Mhm.
redo it.
That's fine.
I just want to make sure that we get to see it again if it gets changed. That's all.
I feel like we've dotted our i's and crossed our t's pretty well here.
Yeah. Happy to redo it, Dart, if it comes to that.
No,
We'll see
we,
how-
in the past, that has happened, and I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page, that if
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
changes,
Yeah.
we're gonna want to
Yep.
see it again.
Okay.
Okay,
Short-term rental code.
not to mention any names.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's happened just recently.
Yep. So, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? Let me see if I can
No.
make this a little bigger.
No.
Yeah, we don't. Like our comprehensive plan doesn't really get into that or anything, so I don't think there's a conflict. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
No.
If anything, it's a less intense use
Yeah.
theoretically, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a little quieter. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
That actually is an improvement.
It's actually an improvement.
Yep.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristic that caused the establishment of a critical environmental area? That's pretty much always a no.
Mm.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure, mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Will the
No.
proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy or fail to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
Actually, this would increase the opportunity to use renewable energy.
Yeah, we can make those
And
notes.
that,
Yeah.
I would make that argument.
Yeah, I like to make those notes. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's important just so that when you go back through, you can see what you're thinking. Will the proposed action impact public water or wastewater?
No.
Well, actually, again, I think that that sort of has the potential to improve it because we're not creating carbon gases. We don't have potentially gas spills. There's oil problems.
With
So,
those things.
Yeah, I actually think it's small, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
And then will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
No.
No.
And I feel like we could add some of the things that Dan had in there about improving health and
Yeah. And air quality.
and air quality and noise.
And
Because I-
noise.
He had the thing where the noise is linked to actually even hardships in humans, but I'm sure it's also linked to hardships
You're
Wild
talking about
things.
putting that under number 11,
under number 9.
number 9.
Well, you put it under 11.
Would
10
it
is
go
will
under-
the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
The no.
No.
And then 11 is will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
I think the noise.
Yeah, maybe put
Yeah.
it more under 11. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
And then I thought if you went up, could you just go up, not to 6.5? Right, I think, wait, stop. The pros. So I think number 4, just it's going to have the proposed impact on environmental characteristics. So I just think that I mean, that's no, obviously, but it could have a positive in, like a positive, how do I want to say that? Sorry.
Effect.
It'll have a positive effect on the environment. you know.
Right. That it's helping, not
that it's
hurting.
helping, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, we can put that in there too.
So do we need to note all those things or?
I do. I used to write them down, but now I just go back to the video.
Okay. Okay. So we said, so do we make it clear what they all were? So it was air and noise,
Water.
water,
Mhm.
your health for quality
The breathing in of the fumes,
Yes.
and
Yep.
then
And the character of the
and the
community.
hearing.
and the hearing, and then also the engines don't break down the hydrocarbons as much. So
Yeah,
also they're very
the byproducts is.
The
causing the
byproducts,
greenhouse
oil,
gas emissions.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
renewable energy being able to,
right.
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Is much cleaner.
Okay.
And then the community character.
Right. It helps the community character because theoretically, hopefully, it's making it more peaceful.
Yeah.
Yes, John.
I know I'm out of line, but just keep in mind, if people are getting rid of their gasoline engines, where's that going? You have to have a note somewhere that any replaced old gasoline equipment should be properly disposed of.
We can put that as a note in the
Yeah, good point.
probably
We
under.
could do a take back.
Yeah, but we can put in a note as a note in our findings, like probably number 7, like you were saying, Dart, I think,
Yeah.
because it's sort of like the public, facilities. We want to say that disposing of any and privately owned kind of gasoline equipment should be done properly to protect
Yeah, because if you take your lawnmower and throw it out, it ends up probably in the colony
Leaking.
landfill.
Do you empty it of gasoline and oil before you do that? What happens
You
to
should.
the extra gasoline you have
Well,
sitting
they're
around the
supposed
house? You don't
to,
need
but-
anymore.
Or that's a good question. The oil they can recycle, but the gas,
Usually they run
We-
it till it's gone.
Right, well, they can still use this other times of year, so hopefully.
yeah,
they could
right,
use it
because
up.
it's not a total
they can
ban.
use up before.
Right, exactly. So you could run
Yep.
it in October and December and then use your electric one. But yeah, I do think it'd be good to make a note that we would just want to make sure that, converting over, you're thoughtful about where you dispose your gasoline.
But
Yep.
we don't want to encourage them to run in the other months.
Right, it's true. I don't know if you guys were here at the beginning, but Lulisi was saying that he sees that most of the younger generation is using the electric ones already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost adopting itself. This is just kind of a nudge in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, we've gone through the,
Do we have to make it?
oh, we do. Dan, would you like to make a motion on this?
I would love to. Motion to, is it negative declaration?
Yes.
Motion for a negative declaration for the gas-powered leaf blower legislation.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Portia made the second. Okay, all those in favor of a negative declaration, say aye. Any opposed? Seeing no abstentions, the motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank
for
you,
the work.
Dan.
You.
Okay. Let's move on to the Climate Smart Communities Task Force part of this meeting.
No, we got one thing I wanted to show you really quick at
Okay.
the end of the packet.
Oh, I'm sorry,
What is the
you do have a
discussion?
discussion item there.
Yeah, it's just for your information because the planning board is looking at sketch plan approval for this, so it hasn't been formally referred to you as a minor subdivision yet. But this is the property behind the Dollar Tree on the corner of Rosendale Road and Route 7. There's currently a single family home there. It's on that road that kind of goes from the old CDPHP office buildings over to Rosendale Road. There's like a building there's like a road behind the Dollar Tree. And there's a single family home there, and then there's kind of a large flat area next to them. It's, of course, that's a very steep hill. You guys probably drive down it all the time. So the back of this property is very steep and not subdividable, but there is a flat area. It does meet the bulk requirements of the subdivision here, and it does have the possible benefit, not a requirement, but this little tiny lot here. Oops. Why? This little tiny lot here that's labeled the lands now formerly of Lee Cairo, it could potentially be combined with this one in the future. And then this lot is currently non-conforming because it's landlocked. So if that was able to get combined with this one, then that lot would be much more conforming. Not a requirement, but could be a positive outcome.
Is that currently what they're considering?
I think that's what drove the idea to subdivide, but there isn't a deal in writing or in place, but I think that's what drove the original idea to subdivide. So if you're out and about down there, just drive by, take a look. Like I said, it's kind of that flat area in between the two existing houses is what they're proposing
I couldn't imagine putting something.
there.
I couldn't imagine putting something in there just because of the traffic and the
The back of the Dollar Tree store.
back of the Dollar Tree store. But yeah,
Well, the question is, yeah, is there, I thought there was a road back there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Yep. It's right here. It's this 40-foot easement
Okay.
yeah.
for ingress and egress and utilities. It is a private road. The town doesn't plow it. I believe that it is plowed by the owners of the old CDPHP office buildings, which is like, I think, a law firm now or something.
Okay.
So that's just a heads up. Probably you'll see the formal referral at the next meeting.
Is that, that's residential, you said?
Yes, it is zoned R2.
So the idea is that someone's going to want to put a house there.
Well, there is a possibility that someone would want to buy that and put a house there. Even though it is commercial and looking at the back of the building, there's so much demand for single family home lots in the Niskuna area that I imagine it would actually sell pretty quickly and could potentially be an affordable home. But the other possibility would be that it combines with that existing landlocked parcel, which already has a house on it. And then that house becomes conforming and has its own access to a road.
So there's a house, where's the landlocked house?
Right here, it has a little house on it. This parcel right here.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
How do they get out now?
They go through this lands of Barbara Nazarko. They go through that over to Rosendale Road, I think.
I assume that was a existing.
Yeah, it's pre-existing
Pre-existing,
non-conforming.
okay.
So, and maybe there's a driveway from theirs through. I can't really tell. I have to go out and visit the site too.
Yeah,
Mm.
this is a driveway to this one and then go to this one.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
a driveway here
yeah,
and then go there.
right.
Okay.
All right, any more questions for Laura on this? Then let's move to the Climate Smart Communities Task Force section of the meeting. Is there any update on the government climate action plan?
I don't have any updates for that tonight.
Okay. Ellen, you gave quite a good presentation to the sewer and water department the other day on the composting program, and
Yeah, so I was just going to share that.
Yep.
So this summer I did a compost pilot program at the Niskuna Farmers Market, and these are my findings. So
I'm just trying to make it bigger.
oh, it's good.
Mm.
So, just why we compost, what we've done for composting. So we established this, a community composting bin over at the senior center where you can. I did it in collaborative with the Cornell Cooperative Extension. So people can. They can register, they can agree to a composting program, then it's locked, and then they can compost in that bin over at the senior center. We ran composting classes here to help people compost in their backyard. And then I wanted to go to the farmers market and see what we could do about just expanding the knowledge and find out who was composting and how I could make it more accessible to people in Niskuna. So go to the next one.
Got it. Sorry, I was trying to make it a slideshow. My computer's running really slow now.
Okay. That's all right.
Oops, this one? No, this one.
Well, yeah. So this is just all the people that I wanted to thank who, had a hand in it and were, very helpful. So those are the peeps. There's the farmers market committee who were with me every week. And then we had to get, in order for them to say yes, I had to get some backup from other people in the town that thought it was a good idea. So I reached out to everybody I could. And so thank you to everyone. So, I think I'm preaching to the choir about why we compost. So it's the single most common material sent to the landfills. There's no reason for this. It's the third largest source of human-related methane emissions in the U.S., and it's responsible for 58% of the landfill methane. So the problem is that before the methane gases can be diverted, they have already broken down and gone off, for when they go to a landfill. So even if the landfill is, well aerated or however they do it, I'm not a landfill expert, but by the time they get to that point, it's already created its methane. So can't stop people from wasting food, but we can help them keep it out of landfills by offering an alternative. So-
Ellen, could you go back to the earlier, I had this question the other day. So if I compost, do I still generate the same methane?
No, because you're adding air. So you're preventing that.
Oh, so that's the mechanism.
Yeah, it's anaerobic versus air.
Aerobic.
Yeah, yeah.
There's CO2 too. But
Yeah, but methane's much. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why you stir.
Okay, I
Yeah.
don't think I really appreciated that when I saw that.
Yeah, I think it kind of gets lost on a lot of people. Yeah, so I'm happy to get into the weeds with people on it. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the means, but
Well, you're enough of an expert to explain to me.
all right, so the next slide. It's just, these were the pilot program by the numbers. So I did it for 15 Saturdays, collected from 8:30 to 12. I had 40 people. I'd say the average we collected was 48 pounds. Most was 80, least was 20. I had 9 people consistently drop each week. And then the total that we diverted was 671.4 pounds of compost. So I kept a spreadsheet of when everybody and how much. I kept a spreadsheet of everybody that dropped for that week, and then I did a total. I weighed it every week, and then I dropped it. So so I only had access to people that came to the market and that wanted to speak with me. Like I wasn't really trying to hound them too much. I did say, hey, do you want to learn about composting? So they came up. I also spoke to them about all of our other initiatives that we were doing. If they said they were interested, I tried to, I put the compost in that waste can that was supplied by the Cornell Cooperative Extension. Got my little water thing there to clean out in case they wanted to clean out their, what they brought their compost in. And then I took their email and their name, and I also sent them what I could accept into it. So yeah.
And the one Saturday I saw you, Ellen, you also had those signs for sale.
Oh, the pesticide free.
Yep.
Yes, I always had so I always had the pesticide free signs. I always talked about LOMO. I always talked about the natural resource inventory, and I always talked about quietness units. Anybody who wanted to listen. But my tour de force was trying to get people to compost, and my whole entire thing is that you have to start. So the next slide is them just I discussed with them ways that they could how to keep their compost at their home to bring it to us. So there's 2 examples from the fancy to the not. Again, Cornell Cooperative Extension donated 3 geo-bins for people who wanted to compost in their own home. So I took people's names and phone numbers, and I put it into that little folder thing. And that at the end, I did it for 3 different weeks, and whoever came that week, I pulled it out. So, and then they came and picked them up, and I don't bother people with emails to see how they're doing, but it is my intention this winter just to ask them how they're doing. So I also did have a lot of single family people or single people who wanted to compost but were in apartments, and we discussed ways that they could put their compost either like keep it in their fridge if they didn't want bugs, or in their freezer, and that helped break down the cells of the plant, so it helps break it down faster. And then they could bring it anytime. Like they didn't have to come, every week. They could just come when they wanted, which is also very helpful. Had a lovely couple who some are here, and live in Texas in the winter. And so they were grateful to be able to compost. And then I brought all of the waste, all of the compost to Schenectady Urban Farms over on Farrer Ave, and that is run by it's a collaborative. I believe it is Sycamore. So Yarrow works for Sycamore, and he collects all the compost that he does at a Schenectady school, and then he brings it, and this is where he composts, and this is how he composts. So the first one where it's brown, so that is where we had been putting the compost this fall. The one in the middle, you can see there's like little white things poking up, and that's just him aerating and taking the temperature. And then the one to the far left, that is the one that we will be starting in January. So if you go back one, so people wanted to compost throughout the winter, so I just took that and I put it on my basketball hoop, and I put a little sign on the front that says Niskuna Compost Drop Station. And then anybody who knows that it's there because they were part of our program can continue to drop. And then I bring it over to Yarrow. He agreed to allow me to keep doing it. I do have a max that I can bring, which is 80 to 100 pounds a week, because he is collecting compost from the Schenectady School District. And then my next steps, I would really like to have at least two more drop stations in the Schenectady. I would like to see one, maybe, so we have the one at the senior center. I'd like to have one, more centrally located over here, maybe, by the library. And then, maybe something over on the other side of 7, so that for folks that live over there. The wood chips, they've been supplied from by the Schenectady County Waste facility that is done through Nick, and then they're managed by volunteers, and I have Kyla's help, so she. I've spoken to her about how I can move forward with, yeah. So I think that's it. Yay. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Great job.
Do the schools have drop stations?
So
the high
in
school, middle-
Niskuna?
yeah,
So
yes.
no. So there's only one school that that composts in Niskuna, and Portia can speak to that because she's actually started that program.
Mhm.
So and they are actually working to put it into the budget.
Yeah.
But they so I would just say this is that there's a very high need for this for composting, but they're currently the Niskuna School District is, they have a contract with Scraps 360 or 360 Scraps, something like this, where they pick them up. But there is, you switched? Oh, okay.
We're using a vermicompost
Oh,
farm
okay.
now.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
we were
yeah,
having
yeah.
too many pickup issues with food scraps.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Because, all right, well, maybe we should work with him too, because that would be great.
Kyla knows all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very hard to nail down, but I've had one or two conversations with him. So anyways, yeah, so it would be just, this is just, I think, something, obviously it's important to me. I spend every Saturday at the Schenectady Farmers Market. So I just think that it's really important, and it's an easy lift, and there's so many things in our world that we can't control, and this is something that we can do. And it seems like a no-brainer. We do have a garbage problem, and it's very lovely that when we put it at the end of our driveway that it all goes away. But we need to do a better job as stewards of our garbage to take care of it better. End of the story.
I have a question. Sure. So do you have any feedback on the use of the final product, the final compost, as far as how good is it for growing, flowers or vegetables?
Oh, it's great. So they use anybody who brought anything that I brought to the urban, is to the urban farms. So they're using that in their gardens. So, and that's, and they have like a whole program there. It used to be Roots and Wisdom, and then it's got enveloped into Schenectady County, and they, so they do I know they do a youth program there, and they have, but they grow everything. They have chickens. It's a fairly decent sized farm, and they use all of the compost there.
Yeah, John, from personal experience, we compost all our food waste, and the byproduct is excellent. Hey, things grow terrific. Yeah. And also, you can fertilize, and you don't have to go to the store and buy a petroleum-based or phosphorus-based fertilizer.
Can't get phosphorus. And the fact that you take the compost in the wintertime is huge. It's great.
I mean,
Yeah, that's a great presentation, Ellen.
I love the tip about putting it in the freezer. Like, I'm probably gonna do that. I'm just gonna make a little spot in my pull-out freezer because I don't always generate that much because I should eat more vegetables. But I feel like now I'm gonna put them in my freezer.
Yeah, when you start composting, you really see how you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't, which is also another.
And the other thing is you see how much you waste, which is kind of
Yeah.
startling.
Yeah.
I saw on your list, hair is also listed. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's organic. So is most of the lint from your dryer. As long as you
I'd
don't
be
use.
careful about that.
Yeah, as long as you don't use.
Polyester.
Yeah.
You're drying chemicals.
PFAS.
Mm.
Yeah, PFAS in that lint.
Okay. We have a number of other items here. Did anybody want to update on any of the items on the ongoing initiatives?
Yeah, I do, Dark,
Okay.
if you have a moment. Late last year, I had the pleasure of meeting Georgia Wonson, Wohnson. She is the manager of government community relations for the New York State Canal Corporation, this area. They have started a low mow, no mow effort along the locks. And she would be willing to come and present to us or talk to us or email us, however you guys want to be communicated with, on the opportunity of turning Lock 7 into a low, no mow zone. Just let me know if you guys think that's a good idea and I can arrange it,
I think that's an excellent idea.
especially now that we own, or now that the park is ours. So, okay,
Yeah.
I will do that then.
No, that's excellent, yeah. Just have her coordinate through Laura.
Okay.
I just wanted to update. I mentioned to you guys that I couldn't get into the old file for the sustainability checklist. I do have a high schooler that has been putting in hours to build towards becoming a planner. So I'm having him work on the sustainability checklist. He started it. He made a document with backup. It's actually it's quite different, but I think it still serves the same purpose. So I'll probably share it with you guys at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So we lost all that we had.
I just cannot get back into that file. I click on it, but I didn't start it and I don't have permissions to go back in. And Simran doesn't. It's like impossible to get back to.
Okay. That's a shame.
I can find the link to it,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
like won't work anymore. I should have downloaded it, but I can't find anywhere that I ever downloaded it.
Yeah, I can't find it either.
It's funny because I looked at it a million times, but I guess I never downloaded it.
Well, because you look at links.
Yeah,
It still
and it's easy
resides
and it's
in
there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did, since I had an intern, I leveraged them and had to make a new one. So I'll bring that back to you guys.
So I just wanted to, this is something that I have in the back of my mind, but I brought it up today is just us starting to look at areas or pockets of Niskayuna that we have a lot of invasive plants, and starting to try to figure out where they are, how much they are. We've had people come and speak to us, and there is an obvious need for it in our town, and we've had people who have spoken to us about it. So I feel like we need to try to garner those resources and see if we can't just try to map out some areas in Niskuna where this exists, and try to then, because if we don't ever start, it's never going to get anywhere. So even if it, takes us 2 years to map it out or whatever, but at least we can start the process. So, and I feel like that we've had enough people come forward to say that they're interested in mitigating it. So I'm not exactly sure what it looks like. But
So last year, when the NRI was taking place, and I think the consultant identified some, during those walkthroughs.
He did.
There's some that once you see it, you begin to see it everywhere.
yeah, it's actually, it's really heartbreaking to me because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's everywhere, and it like breaks your heart, like out here. You know what I mean?
The Phragmites.
Yeah, the Phragmites out here.
Yeah.
So
Which wasn't here when I first started hardly at all. So 10 years.
yeah. So, so I mean, I think that, we need to, start small and pick areas and try to, even if we just say, okay, this is going to be our pilot program. This is how we're going to start it. This is where we're going to do it, and see what we can do with, some help. So if,
Well, yeah, I mean, one area in particular, and it's probably responsible for spreading it all through the town, is the knotweed on near the Schenectady water tower, right off Balltown Road. I mean, there's a
Japanese
huge
knotweed.
patch sitting there, and it gets mowed. It comes down the road and it gets mowed every day or every week during the summer, and who knows where that goes, because you can carry it and then drop it and it'll reroot. So I've often thought about that driving through there. If you could find patches like that in this unit and just eradicate it, that would be, really good.
Yeah. So did you want to add that as an ongoing initiative?
Yeah, I think we should add it.
I think we need to add it, but then again, I'm no expert, so I'm hoping that we can try to come
Yeah.
together and figure out something. So
Have you approached PRISM yet?
I have not. I have literally, the only thing that I have done is I have walked with Roy, and I have seen it on the hill, and I have gone in and then all over where the I'm sorry, the disc golf is on over there, and in places where I have done work myself, but I have reached out to no one.
It's okay. You do a ton.
Yeah.
So
Ellen.
it's
No
just
worries.
something that I think that we need to, piecemeal together and see what we can come up with, and just reach out to the people that have reached out to us, and maybe set a small time aside to figure something out.
And PRISM has a whole framework on this whole process. How do you start? What's the first thing you do? And how do you prioritize? And they're very willing to help people. To have something like a town-wide invasive species management plan, that's pretty ambitious, but it's awesome.
And they would come and help a community like Niskuna?
Oh, they do. They do.
They do.
They were at Rice.
Oh, they were?
And we're putting a plan together for Rice, but not until the spring, because you really need to, one of the first steps is to identify what you have, like you said, Ellen. You can't really do that well until springtime. And once you know what you have, you decide what areas you want to work in, what species you want to go after,
Right.
and come up with incentives to get volunteers to help.
Would they be willing to come and talk to the council?
Prism.
Prism? Do we have a rep come and talk about this?
It's a good place to start. And yeah,
Yeah, John, do you mind sharing your Prism contact with us? Is
Absolutely.
Prism a
Yeah.
state? Is that a state organization or is it its own thing? Do you know?
It's I think it's related to DEC.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so if you want,
Nancy Henry from Retree, Schenectady.
I don't know her,
No? Okay, she's very active in that as well.
but yeah, if you could share that contact, maybe I
Absolutely.
could reach out and like to Chuck's thing. Maybe we could have them come and see what they already know about Niskuna. They may already have some knowledge about what, because I think there's an online mapping thing that Prism
There
does
is.
and stuff
There
like
is. You
that.
get a
Yeah.
map.
So they might even be able to just do a little like short sort of overview of Niskuna, and then we talk to us about what our first steps would be.
Yeah, I mean, it can be it's definitely overwhelming.
It
but I
is
think that if
overwhelming.
we start and do something, pick something and then move.
And maybe even do education campaigns, like where we could tell people, like, invasive weed of the month, go look for it in your backyard, like pull it if you have it.
Well, that's the challenge, because not all invasive plants are ugly, and some of it, like burning bush.
Oh, I know,
I
people
mean,
love burning
know.
bushes.
So there's capital region,
Yeah, Prism, that's what it is.
and then there's 2026 request for proposals,
In fact, the deadline for proposals, I think, is coming up.
January 16.
Oh. Maybe next year. Do they do it every year?
Probably.
Yeah. That's cool.
Chris Williams is the name of the person. Chris, it's a male, K-R-I-S. Williams, so you can get in touch with him.
Would you forward that to us, the what you're looking at right now?
Oh, that's Chris.
Oh, yeah. Can you forward that
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Joy.
Okay. Great suggestion. Any other comments? Questions? Suggestions?
Good.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. I would make a motion that it's now 9:00 and we should adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay.
That's Ellen.
Anybody opposed, wants to stay here? Okay, hearing none. Do we physically have to say yes? Everybody say yes?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Aye.
Thanks all.
Oh.